Right, I'm carrying on because my head is very thinky, as it does get. And then again, my objective analyst will go, see, you're always fucking overthinking about everything. It was just some people on the fucking beach and blah, 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 which is what a lot of people would say. Because again, they're just looking at it as an individual occurrence in an objective way with no empathy. Because they can't empathise with something that they don't know is happening or what goes on when it happens. That's why people go, so what? So you feel a bit there, you feel a bit there. You know? I get anxious a lot. Oh, don't worry. We're all really sound. That doesn't work, is the problem. It doesn't work. It's like telling someone, we don't mind if you have IBS. Come and have dinner. We don't mind about your IBS. We're all okay with it. You're like, but it fucking hurts. It'll make me sick, or whatever your symptoms are. Do you know what I mean? But that's how people sort of genuinely expect to reassure you about anxiety. And it's just, you know, if you say something's not the way, you're automatically responsible for saying, well, what is the way then? Because that's what society is like. It is a snotty, indignant little fucker. It's society. The same society that says you can control your response to anything. It's like, can you? Can you now? Can you control your response to someone challenging something in society? No, you fucking can't. That's the way it's done around here. It's bred into people. Cultural things, ideals, phenomenology, all that sort of shit. And my phenomenology is Quirkwood's. It just is, in whatever way. It's like, you know, whatever question I was asked in a getting to know you kind of a way led to something connected with all the shit that's going on and has a very complicated answer. You know what I mean? I can't just, you know, I broke my leg. Oh, is it getting better? Well, no. But that's why I'm cycling. Trying to keep it minimal every time. Every time I answer a question, I'm trying to keep it as low key as possible, but give them the facts. But then I'm instantly always talking about something, which is, this is the killer thing. It's like that mental health being the showstopper. Because, you know, that's the sort of thing that would get discussed afterwards. I'm not saying they definitely did discuss me, right? But, you know, I think that was a bit rude, just, you know, suddenly talking about mental health in front of them and being really brash about it. It's seen, you know, societally as something like, just don't talk about that, all right? Why? Fucking why? It makes it worse. Just that in and of itself, it being a taboo subject. Or people say, oh, there's such a stigma to it. You're just reinforcing the idea when you say there's such a stigma. You complain about something, you make it bigger. That's what you do. And there's a stigma. Yeah, let's all not do anything about the stigma. Let's let it exist and complain about it. That's what's happening. But the other thing was, I mean, I know that some people would probably say they fucking pulled me apart. They wanted you for your speaker. Because the geezer had offered to buy it. He offered to buy it several times. He got quite funny at one point. His missus had to calm him down. She, I believe, really didn't like me. And, you know, sometimes I'm very fucking perceptive. And her body language, and, you know, she would switch off and stuff. And she wasn't really engaged when she was talking to me. And that's fine. It's all right. She doesn't have to like me. I wasn't there to, like... I don't know. I just kind of hung around because I did. I went along with it. But like I say, the one who was also really compassionate, right? She was smiling at me a lot, and like I made the point of saying yes, they were both very attractive, but they were both. What I meant was I wasn't thinking I reckon she likes me, and that's why all this shit was meaning stuff to me. It was like rejection of me as in that sense, because that's none of it was about that at all. But she would, I think she just found me very curious. And I'd be like bobbing to my tunes and stuff. I'd let them tune their phones in, and there was loads of issues. You couldn't tune our phone into it. And I was just like, I'll just put something on mine then, and blah-de-blah. But I'd be sitting there and getting not shut out of the conversation, but suddenly losing my way like I do. It just kept happening. Just suddenly finding myself like on the edge with someone just like moving away and doing that, and then there's a shoulder in front of me and stuff like that. Just that sort of stuff that people do. And there's logical reasons for that. They were all good friends. When anyone turned up, they were all shouting, and you know what I mean. They were whatever. And so then I was continually meeting new people who were then chatting to me, and it just the same stuff kept happening. It was like, oh my god, it doesn't matter what question you ask me about my life. It's just there's a fucking answer that I don't really like talking about either. Is the other thing, just from my point of view, regardless of what's sort of socially going on. So I want to just chit chat about shit. You know what I mean? When we first started chatting, we were chatting about festivals and shit. You know what I mean? There was lots of other conversations besides. They were generally nice. They were generally nice. That's why I was sticking around. But it was just all the weirdnesses came up. But this girl would keep like I'd just be bobbing away, and I'd just notice her looking at me, and she just sort of smiling. And by the end of it, there was a few of them sort of noticing. There was one guy I'd chatted to. He was really talkative. He was as unstoppable as me. Definitely, he was very unstoppable. He was like fucking very direct as well, which is what I liked about him. I wanted to go for a piss, and he was chatting away to me. And he was talking about travelling and all sorts of stuff. And I was chatting to him about it. I was dying for a piss. And I was like, mate, I'm dying for a piss. He was like, yeah, he said, you picked the wrong person to talk to. I talk fucking for fucking England, mate. I'll fucking chat about anything, mate. You won't even fucking listen to me, were you? You won't listen to me. I was like, I liked him. I did like him. He had a raw honesty about him. I like people like that. They're easy to read for me. I feel safe around them because I know when not to be scared of them, if that makes sense. When people are direct, I think if they had a fucking issue, they talk to me. He was that type. He was very confident. They were all very confident because they were in their element, and I was just like bewildered by how the fuck is this happening? Why am I caught up in all of this? Why am I having all these conversations as if I'm like part of this social circle all of a sudden? But he'd noticed it, that I was just like, because I was just feeling I just kept feeling awkward. Because there's suddenly people talking about stuff you don't know about, weren't there, la 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 la. And they're not realising it, obviously, because they're just at home and happy. And then with me, they've got to retune. Whether it's into my silliness or my madness, like that geezer was. He kept asking questions, and like, I can't remember a lot of them, but my reply, he would then repeat and like say to his mate, do you hear that? He was like showing me off almost. And the girl that was laughing at me a lot, was like they were a couple. And like, were they pulling me apart? I don't know. They didn't. They might have been. They were sticking around because they wanted my tunes. But again, like people would say it's only a small interaction. It's like, yeah, but there are so few of them. Okay, there are so few of them, and that was just me being me and natural and da da da. You know, get out there and live your life. That's the thing. There's such a vague principle. Just get out there and do it anyway. And you think, it's the incapability. It's like telling a blind person to just go and look at things. It really is. It really fucking is. It's not about confidence or anything. It's like I was answering everything as brutally fucking honestly as I could, and just seeing all the conversations fall apart in front of me. Or the same challenges come at me, or people starting insisting that I'm fine and I'm normal. And I was thinking, you've just fucking met me. The reason I said psychiatrist and support worker, and that I see him every 3 months, I wanted to leave it there. That's why I mentioned it. I wanted to leave it there. I was bringing it up to a level of like just basically thinking, if you know that that's there, you'll stop expecting normal from me. I did use that phrase. And it made him laugh. When I was being characterful about my mental health, it always made him laugh. That was working. The guy who kept trying to buy my speaker, at one point it was like, I was just in that high energy, and I just went, look, I know you want to buy my speaker, and I know why you want to buy my speaker. You want to give. He was offering me more than it was worth in the shops. He's a year old. He was offering me about 40 quid more, and he was waving the cash in front of me and all that shit. But I'd said to him, I was like, look, I know why you want to give me that much, because you're on the beach and it's now, and you want the tunes now, and you don't want to fucking think about going and getting one. And I said, but I'm in exactly the same fucking position as you. And by this point, I'd caught their attention because I was being all like that. And I said, but the thing is, we're not just two blokes that want the same speaker, because the difference is it's already mine. And at that point, they'll just fucking piss themselves. So I was like, so you can see my issue. No, I totally understand why you want the speaker. And you need to totally understand why there's no fucking way I'm selling it, even for any more than it's worth. Because just as much more as you want to pay, I am willing to fucking throw away. So, like, when it was like when I'm talking and they were all listening, and that's seen as me just being dominant. That's how it will be interpreted. And I get why. Of course I get why, because I'm actually compassionate. I see things from your point of view. But people can't seem to see it from my point of view, that it's not. That's the only way I can communicate. Doesn't matter how many I'm communicating with. I need to be talking to them about this one thing that's in my head, and then hear them reply to that. And if I can't, I can't. That's a dynamic I can't do. It's just a computation my brain cannot synthesize. I don't know why. I think it's a lot to do with needing to be engaged. I think a lot to do with ADHD. That I need to be engaged. I need to be doing something. So when I'm riding my bike and bouncing on my tunes. I love waving to people. I almost said the phrase to them, like, seriously, I'm better in photographs. Well, that was a little bit too fucking narcissistic, but what I meant was, leave me as the happy, bright, bouncy guy with the bright pink glasses, banging techno out while he rides his bike, and look at him, he's loving his life, he ain't got a care in the world. And if you see me that way, you'll like me, and I can be happy. It's simple. I can't get to know you any more than that, really. That's why it's impactful to me. Because it's like, that's me doing that. Get out there and just be you, and don't care who you are, and accept that some will like you and some won't. It's like, but it's not about liking me or not. I think a lot of them quite liked me. They just weren't that intrigued by me or that interested or whatever. And I just can't seem to rejoin conversations. So I always feel like I'm getting left out. And then I look like I'm being sulky and weird, and people notice and they point it out like they were. Like the friendly guy, and he looked at me and he was dancing, and he just looked at me and went, Michael, like that to me, and he just, what I mean? He was that kind of a guy. He noticed. I did like that bloke. He could just tell, and I think that's why the girl was smiling a little bit. She was like, "You keep drifting out, don't you?" She didn't actually say anything, but her eyes, weren't. They went like. She was curious in a guy. I don't know what sort of a way. But I don't know if it was taking the piss or not, because I can't perceive it. That's the sort of thing I'm on about, when I don't realise if I'm getting pulled apart or not. I don't know if she was being kind, or if she was ripping the shit out of me, or if she was just being curious, or if it was none of the above. I don't know. I was uncertain about so many of them. It's a shame I never really got to talk to the younger one that said about the label, because I was a little bit patronised. I said, darling, it's not just a label. It's shit that was happening already. And then someone else has been able to say, all that shit that's happening already, it's because of this. It's not just a name. You can't say diabetes is a label, can you? I didn't say that bit to her. But it was when I said, that means there's a treatment for it. They look at... They consider it when they're treating you. There's support groups for it. There's other people who are experienced. And then she starts to nod, right. Almost like kind of, oh, I see, you're looking at it that way. Well, I'm looking at it in the way that it is a diagnosis of something, yes. You're the one that's looking at it in a perceptual sense. Yeah? I didn't say that bit to her, but she is. That you've literally turned a diagnosis of an illness and then just looked back at it and gone, that's a label for a thing that lots of people do anyway. They've slapped a label on you, and that becomes the truth under which you will live, to which I am subject. to your total widespread reinterpretations of things like that. That's why I feel helpless. And, you know, I'm getting out there and living my life and say, yeah, and this is what will happen because of how I don't understand the energy of what is coming across to me. And I don't know how to interact around it. And I always try and fucking just joke it off, or I don't know. But, you know, getting out there and meeting people isn't fucking easy when you've got fuck all about you. You've got nothing to speak of. No job, no girlfriend, no life, no day-to-day. And there's always a conversation stopper. Anyway, I'll shut up.